did not post yesterday, and I try to post on Wednesdays and Sundays, and I don't like that. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm going to try to get enough videos pre-recorded that doesn't happen again. Okay, I am crunched for time. I am leaving soon on a trip. I'll give you more information about that later, but I can't give it all out right now. You'll know why later too. And this is just an explanation of how it's going right now. So, and that's okay. Sometimes it's just like that and we have to roll with the punches. I'm just being totally upfront. I'm not having a great mental health day today, and I don't like that. I don't like feeling off. I'm very fortunate, and I usually feel good overall. I usually feel in alignment. Now, it did take me years to get here. Years. It did not always happen this way. But I'm so used to having, at least, I know where I'm at overall. I know what things make me sad or still bother me or whatever. But aside from that, I'm usually able to combat it. And I'm in the battle today. It's not been a great mental health day, so we're just going to roll with it. But I have been wanting to talk to you about GLP-1s. Now, I know this gets so controversial, but if you try to avoid every controversial topic, you won't talk about anything. And it's like, that's the whole point of this, is to allow me space to grow and learn. And then if you guys want to grow and learn as well, I'd love that too. So I currently am on a GLP-1. And I know this is also going to be controversial because I'm sure I was considered obese for my height when I started, but I'm not anymore, and I know that really irks people who deeply, deeply, deeply struggle with their weight. Now, I've always struggled with my weight. I've yo-yoed all the time. I've never just been super lean unless I put in full effort. The smallest I ever was is in 2014 when I was in college. After my freshman year, I had gained more weight, and I already was pretty chunky as a high schooler, but I didn't care. Oh my gosh, y'all, I did not. I did care, but I loved food more, and I knew it, and I knew I was going to get together someday. I knew I was going to fix it someday, and after my freshman year, I had gained a decent amount of weight, probably 20 pounds, or maybe even more. I don't remember exactly, but I remember the numbers scaring me really bad. And I try not to go off of just numbers, but I do want to say, I think it is okay if certain people have a number that they see, and if they don't like it, that it kind of jump starts them into wanting to make some changes. So that's what happened, and I was, oh my gosh, you guys, and I get like this about anything that I'm motivated for. I was relentless. I remember telling, and Lindsay at the time, same person, I remember just saying, I'm gonna lose weight. I'm gonna lose weight if it's the last thing I do. And I got Insanity, which I had, I feel like I had Insanity in high school. I did Insanity in high school. Insanity was the cardio version of P90X, for those of you who don't know and who are too young to know. And let me tell you, these are some of the hardest workouts I've ever done. They are only body weight workouts. And that's why I chose it, because I knew it was functional. I knew I did not need to purchase equipment. It made sense for me at the time, because I didn't have a bunch of money. Okay, I was talking about Insanity, which is the cardio version of P90X. Yeah, so I had Insanity, and I knew is all I needed to do was get my eating in check, because I was very active. I was still running. You guys, even when I was up weight, always in my whole life, even when I'm up weight, sorry, you're shaking a lot, this road's kind of rough, I was active. I've always been active. I've always worked out. It's my food that makes it or breaks it every time for me. So anyways, I went through that, and I did get very lean. I almost got too lean. I lost everything. I was just so lean everywhere. I had no boobs. My butt was gone. It was just, So, and it was exhausting. Everything I ate, I was so careful. And eating was not fun because I had to do it really cheap. So I did everything like in mass quantities. Like my standard meal was 2 eggs or 1 egg, scrambled, brown rice, salsa. That's it. And I might eat some vegetables. It was not fun. Like, that was terrible. And so anyways, okay, so I've yo-yoed throughout the years, but it did start to get really out of control again. I always kind of kept it together overall until 2024. And I went during that time from the happiest I've ever been to the saddest I've ever been. So it was a massive change. I went through just a very hard time. A relationship didn't work out that I really anticipated that would. So difficult. So I hate it when you're trying to pass somebody and they speed up. It's like, I'm trying to pass you on a 2-lane road. You've been going 60 miles per hour. What are we doing? Okay. Nevertheless, I started hearing about GLP-1s, of course, with everybody else in 2023, 2022, maybe? I don't know. And also keep in mind too, everything trends and hits the Midwest late. So if you're on the coasts and you live on the coast, East Coast, West Coast, anything like that, and you're listening to this, everything gets to us late. Trends, common products, anything like that. Maybe on the East Coast, it's been trending for 6 months. And then finally it trends in the Midwest too. So just know that if you're like, what are you talking about? That's so late. Like, we've been thinking about this since 2020. Maybe so, but it did not hit mainstream in my head until like 2023. So I started hearing about GLP-1s and I was like, do I want to try this? A friend was on one and she offered to kind of gave me the insight, answered questions for me, let me know any of her side effects. So I decided, okay, I'm going to do a GLP-1. I did the trizepatide. I do the trizepatide now still. And I'll tell you guys who I use and everything. I'll put my discount code below if you want to join. And I'm going to tell you all right now, so real. I have worked my butt off and lost weight multiple times. Usually I try not to let it get out of the range of like needing to lose 15 pounds because it just feels so overwhelming after that. But when I tell you, this has created such a great deal of relief in my life, guys. Growing up in the early 2000s, and I'm saying it because you had to be there. If you weren't there, it's impossible to describe the diet culture. I don't like using these words, but it's just very unhealthy. We would call women who were not even big fat. Not even like, oh, you're chunky or thick. We just say, oh, you'd get called fat. And it's like the media would, or people at school would. And I was a thick girl growing up, and thick was not known as cute. Like, it just wasn't until I was maybe in early high school, and I just always felt conscious about how I always felt bigger than everybody else, which is crazy because if you saw me now, especially, people would describe me as like petite. But I'm telling you, I did always feel that way. You can believe me, you cannot. And I know that other people's struggles are way worse. I'm not discounting that or discrediting that. And I'm not saying you guys even need to agree with what I'm saying. I'm just sharing my experience because I want others to feel like, okay, this person took this option and she's sharing it with us. Do I want to consider this as well? Because a lot of people keep it quiet. I will say that. I love it, guys. I'm on Mochi, okay? Mochi is not for everybody. I'm telling you now. Mochi is for me because they offer trizepatide and I put in the work elsewhere. And what I mean by that is I work out. I learned, at first I was reckless with my eating because I loved just being able to eat whatever I want. You're just not hungry. So you don't need to worry about as much the quality of food at first, it feels like. And then after a while, I was like, I got to feed myself better food. I also think I have undiagnosed IBS. That's a whole other thing, which is irritable bowel syndrome. Not cute. Welcome to the life of a millennial. It's probably all that red dye 40 we ingested. And I the crap that's in our food. I pay for it. I'll tell you that right now. I pay for it. So I just want you guys to feel like I'm being transparent. So I'm on Mochi. Mochi, you have to pay for a membership. It can be every 3 months, every 6 months, or like you can do a year at a time. And then on top of that, you pay for your injections. You pay for the actual product itself too. So with that, they started me on the lowest dosage, of course, and I've gotten increased, and now I'm at a pretty good area. I don't like to not be hungry at all. I am a foodie. I love some food. I love to eat. My family was never judgmental about eating growing up. My parents never said, why are you snacking? Why are you eating that? Again, my parents are amazing. But also, I was very active, so they always said, like, we weren't worried about you because you were just so active. Like, what else can a person do? You know? And we'd balance it out, too. Anyways, and so you pay for me, it'd be the trizepatide. They have semaglutide, they have pills, they have all these other options, but you have to pay for a membership and then also your medicine on top of that. Okay? Now, I'm just being real with you guys. I'm at the point in my life right now. I just need some help. I need some help. And not worrying about my weight constantly in the back of my mind, or when I'm trying to enjoy a good moment, but I also want to look good on vacation at the same time, or whatever, is such an abundant relief for me. I know people will not agree with it. I know people will say you're way too small to even be taking this, but it's just a little like kick for me. This is just for me. I also saw one of my friends last summer. We were at the pool and she looked amazing. Oh my gosh. I said, you look incredible. And she goes, thank you. And she was willing to share with me that she was doing a GLP-1, like a small dose. And I said, thank you for sharing that with me. Because y'all, when I saw her, I thought, I feel terrible about myself. I just feel awful. And I do not want any other woman ever to feel that way and not know the whole truth. That's why, again, I'll make a whole other video about this someday. That's why I don't have social media. And I know it's crazy because I have this channel. And I think I'm going to get an email started soon. But that's why I don't have social media, because I always say it hurts your feelings over things that aren't even real. And if your feelings are going to be hurt, that's fine. That happens to all of us. But if they're going to be hurt over something that's some BS, y'all, that is such a waste. What a precious waste of time and energy and effort. And I will protect myself as if I'm my own daughter from that crap, because I know it could get to me so quickly. And I just won't do it. I refuse. Anyways, and I'm so grateful to my friend for sharing that she was on a GLP-1, and that helped like boost everything. And she does. She eats very clean. She's active. So all those played a role as well. But I just was like, thank you for telling me that. And that's why I'm making this, because I'm honest, y'all, if I get injections, if I have Botox, if I have anything done, if I have a cosmetic surgery, I'll just tell y'all. I don't understand that. I don't understand that secret keeping, like with the celebrities and stuff, why they won't just say it. I'm like, do you know how much more relief you could create, especially for women, just coming forward and saying, hey, this is what I've done. And you don't have to agree with it, but it was my decision. And this is, and like, just the relief I got from my friend even telling me that. It's like, you could save people's day. You could make a woman be more forgiving of herself. And if I ever have that opportunity to help a woman even just know the truth and her feel better just from knowing the truth, nothing even changing besides that, then I absolutely want to do that. That is my goal, and for anybody. But obviously, some of these topics I'm going to be talking about is for women. So I will say my side effects when I started. I've been on GLP-1 for about a year. Yeah, just about a year. First of all, I lost my weight pretty fast overall, and that was incredible. Second of all, though, I usually lift not super super heavy, but I do weight workouts. And Lindsay Baumgren, I think I'm saying it right, the Nourish Move Love channel, I will try to link it down below, and I will also tag it. She has saved me through such hard times. Because guys, when I could not take my butt to the gym, I'd pop on her video on YouTube, they're free, and I do my dumbbell workouts at home, because that's all I had in me. And when I tell you that's all I had in me, that is all I had in me at the time. So thank you. And my cousin recommended them to me. My cousin and I are very close. Actually, me, my cousin, and my sister are all very close. But I'm so grateful for those. They got me through very hard times. And just in times when it's freezing, I don't feel like going to the gym or whatever. So that is where I'm at. Like I said, I can put my dosage below. I use Mochi. I'll put my code below if you want. I think it's like a certain amount of dollars off to begin with my code. They are not sponsoring me. This is not sponsored. This is just if you like recommend a friend. So keep that in mind. But I would love for you obviously to mention Olivia Valadez and let them know that I am talking positive about them. And all y'all have to do is meet on Zoom with the doctor. You talk about your struggles, where you're at. You do have to know your weight. So you do have to stand on that scale so you at least have an idea, or the last weight that you weighed in at the doctor or something. And then you tell them what your goals are. And then you can also meet with a nutritionist as well. And then they prescribe it to you, and it comes in the mail, you guys. It is like just incredible. So I did have fatigue. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. I did have fatigue really bad at first. So with my weighted workouts, when I kept doing them, I was not okay. With my weighted workouts, I did struggle with fatigue when I started taking the GLP-1 working out. I didn't struggle with fatigue usually, but oh my gosh, when I'd work out, I could tell I was weaker. The hard part was it was a trade-off. It was like, you're leaner now and you're losing weight, but you are not as strong as you used to be. And of course I want both. I always say if all above is an answer, I'm gonna circle that one because that's the one I want. But I just wanted to feel like I could get this part under control, and I do. And people ask me all the time, how are you gonna do it? And I'm telling y'all what, except for when I have a child, I will do this the rest of my freaking life if I have to, because it takes such a huge amount of stress off of me. Huge amount of stress off of me. And I'm so grateful for it. I'm so grateful for the option. Again, I've lost weight the other way, but this helps it along so much more and helps me stay stable. It's just way more effective for me and longer term. So someday I do think that I will go down to microdose if I can, but I'm probably not going to stop using it anytime soon. I don't plan to. Again, I'm not saying you guys have to agree with these decisions. These are just my opinions, and this is just where I'm at right now. And I know there's people this doesn't work for, and I'm so sorry to you, because it's worked for me, and it's worked for some people who are very close to me who have also struggled, and I'm grateful for them. I want them to have that. I do not work in that scarcity mindset that I think some women do. Like, if somebody else has something, then I can't have it too. It's like, oh my gosh, no, that is not how that works at all, in my opinion. There is enough to go around. I always say there's enough time, space, and money for everything, but I would like to add a disclaimer. If resources are used appropriately and respected, because you can run out of time and you can run out of money, obviously, but if you are respecting your resources and yourself, there's enough time, space, and money for everything, baby. Like, God will align it for you, I promise. So that is my experience with GLP-1. I will put up pictures of before and after. My starting weight, I think, was 164, and I'm down to 137 right now. It's not about the weight, or like the number in particular. I was fine at 145, y'all. If I could have just stayed at 147, 145, 147, I would have been fine with it. But I because that's when I start looking better, is in the 130s. Now mind you, I'm 5'2", so I'm very short. So, but I'm so grateful for this. This has been a gift, and I try to use it as a tool and not just lean on it wholeheartedly. And I eat my salmon still, I do my steak, my green beans, my vegetables, everything. Green beans are vegetables, like duh, but I do. I'm so grateful for it. I've had a wonderful experience, but keep in mind, your side effects may be more severe. I know people had way more severe side effects. Fatigue is a huge one. Some people felt nauseous. I always tried to make sure I was careful about upping my dosage and just, and I do the shot, and just so you guys know too, I do not take the pill. So that's my experience so far, and that's what I have to share. Okay, until next time, guys, like and subscribe from your Midwest girl. Okay, one more thing that I meant to say that I missed was I did not go through insurance to get on Mochi. You can go through insurance, but if your insurance denies it, then I don't know what happens after that. I asked, thank goodness my doctor was so incredible, and I just asked her straight up, now, can you tell me, or are you able to give me a hint whether I should go through insurance or not? And she was willing to kind of give me, she's like, ultimately it's your decision, blah, blah, blah. But if they figure out you've lost weight without this already, they probably will not approve it. And I was like, fudge. So I will say I'm paying everything out of pocket. I just wanted to make sure it happened. I didn't want to go through a bunch of things. So I will say I'm paying for everything out of pocket, because I didn't want that anticipation of waiting and then being denied or something like that. I'm like, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing it. I just need you to help me out and get me there, and so I can get underway and start feeling better. And I do. I feel much better than I did.